I should have some elevator music. Okay, I think it's starting. I did some changes to my setup. They were drastic enough that I didn't want to try it online because I changed the like video resolution and stuff. Yeah, so now now I have this like empty space on the left because like Mac screen is not exactly like 16 by 9 or whatever the standard like video resolution is, but I think in YouTube it was still showing some like letterboxing, so I will figure this out eventually. So anyway, this is I think 2 weeks since I'm started to kind of like use Mac as my main machine. In fact, my like old laptop is now kind of like far away corner, so I don't hear the fans as much. I mean, it's not bad, but it's still like a thing that I noticed. So yeah, I think the things that I didn't mention is that like I don't have it on this account that I have like for streaming, but my like main account I set up like Alfred carabiner to get some of the like Linux slash Windows hotkeys to work in Mac, and yeah, it's actually like it took a lot of tweaking. I found something online where it's like they had like recipes for hotkeys, and yeah, it wasn't 100% great. I had to like tweak it a lot, and I'm still not 100% sure if it's like if it's worth it, but yeah, I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, so the other thing is I was spending a lot of time having like basically issues with iTerm. So now I'm trying this app that's called Tabby. I think it's just like recently started, but I think so far it's the best one I could find. Yeah, and so far for my main work I only work with one project, and it's not that crazy. I think the craziest part is that like it uses Nix for like backend stuff. So I think it was just like plain kind of like install from the whatever they have in Nix documentation, and I think it went fine. I think they used to have some issues with some older versions of macOS, but I think I didn't have any issues right now, so I think that means that they fixed it. What else? Yeah, so that means that for my work, I just start VS Code. I just start like terminal emulator, and that's it. Like everything works. As I said previously, I kind of like compared how like performance is between my old computer and this M1 Max, and it was basically the same. Kind of like a similar caveats. If I'm doing something extra on my Dell, it will overheat and like start throttling, but sometimes I can see some slowness on Mac as well, so I have it. I have, I think like on the last stream I have like few times when it's like on Mac, for some reason it's like slowing down. So kind of like the same similar idea. Yeah, so the front end for it is built on like create React app. That's what I was like testing a lot with last stream. And that's actually like the comment I got on Twitter is that like the Node version that I'm testing, it's not optimized for M1, so it's running through like a Rosetta, and it's going to be slower than native version. So that's basically what we are going to try today. I'm just thinking what else I could have missed. Yeah, so I think last time I tried to set up like try to use my iPhone to get for my camera, but even using rear camera, I didn't see like as drastic of a difference. I know that like colors are different, that the colors like on phones are going to be better. I actually found like better results running my Pixel 5a, like a rear camera as well. And again, it's kind of like better in colors and in like in shadows, not really like in the resolution. So that's why I'm still like just running the built-in webcam. But I might test it more. So I got it working. I don't know what was not working last time, but like I don't know. Yeah, it's the main idea is like this camera is good enough. It's like colors are good enough, so I will probably keep using it for like time being. Yeah, so let's start with this thing. So just to get everyone up to speed, the idea is that there's like this pretty popular, probably not really right now, but it used to be like the way of doing stuff. This will create basically like, how do you call it, like kind of like boilerplate to like single page application, for single page application. Yeah, with like Webpack and CSS, like Sass and all of that stuff. So it's actually like how I like to benchmark computers, because this command is like it's not doing that much, but it could be pretty slow on like slow computers. So I was working on computers that this command would take like 2 minutes, and like with Yarn and like computers getting faster, it's not as bad, right? To like kind of like in nowadays, but it's still pretty slow, especially like if you're doing something else like your computer trolling. So here's the test. On the right, I think the last time I used it in different order. I wonder if I can like change the kind of like which one is which. Is that worth it? I guess it is. Okay, so let me just copy the command again, and let me close this one and just do that. Yeah, and now I'm not sure if that was the order, but for some reason I feel like that was the order. Anyway, so if we run these two commands at the same time, we will see that, like, I don't know, Oh no, what's happening again? You need to install following packages. Okay, what's happening? Anyway, so the command usually takes about like 15 seconds. And I was just trying to show. Oh yeah. One other thing is that I changed settings a bit, so OBS might be like taking more resources, but probably not. So the thing that I just like got from someone watching like YouTube like reviews for for Macs is that I don't know how to show GPU usage. So I was just like wondering if like OBS is only like using CPU or if it's also using GPU. So yeah, it doesn't have like absolute values. So I don't know what that means, but I guess it's using something. Anyway, that's not really relevant. It's just wanted to share that I now know stuff. Okay, so let's try to figure out what's happening here. Yeah, so the last time I had some issues installing like, oh right, yeah, that was it. So I think I ended up running it like that. Was it it? Let me see if I have the tweet. Okay, grade 5. Okay, 5. Okay. And we will run 5 here. Okay. So we don't really care about this one. Oh no, it's going to finish anyway. Okay, it's not. So let's start it again. So we're using new directory because otherwise it's going to show something like that. It's like this directory is already in use. Okay, so okay, so that's what I was trying to do. So let's run create rect app on my Linux Dell XPS 5-year-old laptop and on my new M1 Mac. So what we got from last stream is that it's actually like basically running at the same speed. And yeah, so 16 seconds here, like 17, and 18 and a half here. Oh no, it's user. I'm almost confused how to read these numbers. I think that one is the total, yeah. 17 and almost 17, so exactly the same for 1 second more than the last stream. Anyway, so what I got in the comment is that I should try newer Node version, and for that we're going to use Volta. This is kind of like Node package manager. I tried like ASDF, I tried N, and now I'm trying Volta just to see like if it's somewhat different. So we will try to install like the Node 16, both of them. Right, and we need to install higher npm version. We also use a yarn. I think it's a bit slower without yarn. I'm actually curious to try like pnpm at some time because they say it's even faster than yarn. Okay, so now we want to do the same on the Mac. And okay, so now we have 16, presumably M1 kind of optimized, and with newer npm. Okay, so let's go back to this. Hopefully it will work. So okay, let's run it. So we expect it to be different because of the new version. And I'm going to run it a few times just to kind of like see the difference. Okay, so far 18 seconds, 16 seconds. I don't see anything that would make me think that this is like more optimized one or the other. Yeah, it might have, right, it might have been downloading some like new packages. So that's why I expect like first and second round to be different. And I see 10 seconds here and 16 seconds here. So Linux didn't get as much stuff updated, I would assume. How I should read it? Okay, so we expect third round to be basically the same as the second one. So okay, so we got some slower results on the Dell. That might mean we're hitting something. No, it's 0 RPM. It's super cold. So I guess just like a random occurrence. Let's run it again. Okay. So best case scenario on Linux, 16 seconds. Best case scenario on Mac, 10 seconds. So let's switch back to, how do we switch it back? Bin? I think bin is for kind of like per project stuff. So So what was our version before we started everything? It's here. 14. Okay, so let's switch back to 14. We will keep the npm of. Oh, it switched to npm. Did it? Yeah. Okay. So let's run it again. Again, like first time, we might be like re-downloading or rebuilding something, so we would have to run it 2 times at least to get some kind of result. Yeah, I think it's doing something different. Yeah, it's 33 seconds and 35 here. So okay, so this one should be quicker. Yeah, so what other thing is that I was doing last time is that I was introducing some kind of like load on the machine to trigger like hot throttling and stuff like that. And I don't think like the results were, my methodology wasn't great, so I don't expect the result to be great. Okay, so I'm not sure what's happening. That's what you get with like working with Node. It's like global packages stuff is trying to figure out all the dependencies. So yeah, I guess at least we know that the results are the same. It's bad that it's twice as slow right now, but so let's switch back to 16. Let's run it once more just to see if we can get something from it. Yeah, so I also spend a lot of time like talking about like fans and fan noise and stuff. And okay, so we got 16 and 23. So 16 is probably as good as it's going to get, and 23 is not great. So maybe like on the second run after switching node version is going to be better. So I was speaking a lot about like fan noise. So 2300. Yeah, so it's audible. I don't feel it with a touch. So I think I like on my Dell, maybe like bearing cell old or something. Basically, like I can feel it even if I'm in headphones. So yeah, I'm not a fan of fan noise. So I would say that like this like audible amount of fans is what you get if you're running like 300% CPU screen grabbing. Oh, I see. So my like my live streaming window froze, and I was like, oh no, am I streaming? I think it's fine. Anyway, so I was saying about fans. My comment was that if I try to stream on my laptop and would be doing stuff, it's not great. If I do it on an M1 Mac, I can hear the fans, but it's way different situation compared to what I had before. And if I wasn't streaming, the fans wouldn't be running. I guess like the same as the Linux laptop. It's like the fans are not running on it because this command is like it's not that crazy. Anyway, so let's run it one last time just to kind of like hope that the results are going to be kind of like stable. So we expect to get 16 seconds on the Linux and 10 seconds on macOS. Yeah, that's how it's called. Okay, 11 seconds, and for some reason this one is running slower, even though it was 16 seconds just now. Oh, no, it's not great. Okay, okay, it wasn't stable. It's not great. Let's run it one more time. Kind of like, let's try to make it screenshot worthy. And running. Great. So 16 seconds on a 5-year-old computer, 10 seconds on the newer, however, like many thousand Mac. Okay, I think that's great. I think this is kind of like this screenshot we're waiting for. Can I make it fit in the screen? Okay, I guess not. Okay, that's not great. Okay. Let's. Oh yeah, I forgot. I didn't know how to save screenshots to the file. Let me try this. Okay, so one other thing I was going to do is so we created all of those apps, and one other thing that you do a lot with it is you build it. So yarn build time yarn build. This is more or less just like we are benchmarking Webpack. So 5 seconds, 7 seconds. Okay, it's not bad. Three seconds on the hot system and 5 seconds here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how kind of like representatives those numbers are. Okay. Yeah, I think we see it's almost like twice as fast. Now, if we switch back to node 14, and run it. I should probably write a script that like runs it 10 times and makes an average, but it's kind of funnier to run it live. Right, so this is what I started with in like last stream. I see the same performance on my 5-year-old computer compared to this like super expensive Apple M1 Max 33 cores or whatever that is, like the Max. And I was seeing exactly the same performance. And Maris on Twitter has proposed that I should try Node 16, and that's where we see the difference. With Node 16, we're getting almost like twice as fast, which is kind of like more in line with like just like 5 years passing by. And I think that's a great result. I'm pretty happy with this. So what I said in the last stream is that if it's working exactly as fast as the old computer, it's like I can live with that. But then I'm getting like better machine, but worse operating system. Because I like Linux more than macOS. But if it's twice as fast as the Linux machine, then it's like it's more interesting. It's yeah, it's okay. I will try to kind of like investigate more. Was trying to run my like real app with this, but yeah, it's nice to see that it helps. So, oh yeah. So one like random thing is that what I noticed is that when I try to remove node modules, it's way slower on Mac. And I don't think it depends on like node or npm or stuff, so let me just try to test it again. Yeah. It's like almost 3 seconds on Mac, almost instant on Linux. So I don't know if it's like just like X4 thing or something. Maybe there's a way to like tweak file system or like use different file system to make it faster, but just kind of like as a random experiment, let's remove all of the like apps that we created on Linux and on Mac. Yeah. So it's great that it's faster on installing stuff. It's kind of like strange that it's slower on removing stuff. And I don't think there's like a way to explain it with like Rosetta and stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I think I mentioned it last time, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so it's like 3.5 seconds to like 30 seconds. So it's considerably 10 times slower to remove node modules on new Macs compared to Linux. So I don't know, like I don't have like older Mac to compare this with. So actually I do, so maybe I can test it. Anyway, so what I was going to mention is that I ran the same create React app test with MacBook Air, M1 MacBook Air, and there I was using basically QEMU, I think it's called. I don't know if I like try to install it here. I think it's called UTM, right? So what I did is I installed Linux using this virtualization system. This is basically like a wrapper in front of like QEMU, and I ran my like some of the tests basically like in Linux, and I was getting basically the same results. So it's curious that like QEMU virtualized Linux works kind of like it's the same speed as like Rosetta Mac running like Rosetta not older but like Intel instructions Intel instructions, but still like a native Mac application. Yeah, so maybe I can test it next time, but I feel like I'm finished with the subject until we. I'm more interested to try figure out what's happening with like file system than with Linux virtualization. Because the problem with Linux is that it's if I'm running Linux in macOS, I'm not getting 3D acceleration, and I have a lot of kind of like macOS shortcuts and like gestures and stuff interfering with Linux. So it's hard to use Linux as kind of like as a desktop in virtual machine, at least in kind of like my experience. I haven't tried Parallels yet, so I have some like hope that there's like a way to run Linux kind of like just on this hardware. But again, the problem is that it's going to be kind of like it's going to be kind of like slower, so it's going to be like my old laptop. So maybe it's worth the kind of like user experience still. Anyway, so let me think what I was going to mention again as well. Yeah, so there is some like streaming stuff left. I was watching some random inspiring YouTube stuff on like how to I don't know how to describe the category, but like here is me, a YouTuber, explaining how to be successful on YouTube, and it's I don't know, it's kind of like strange juxtaposition. Anyway, so this guy was like explaining some stuff about OBS, which I don't really know. And he was explaining how to set up like nested scenes, which I never tried before. And there isn't anything I really want to do with it. It's just I wanted to kind of like experiment with it. So I think, yeah, I don't have time for that today, but that's just one thing I wanted to mention. I don't really like what he's having in the end, but I feel like the kind of like the tools that he's using could be helpful. So all of this like animated borders is not kind of like it's not that interesting for me, but some of the like just reusable kind of like stuff is more interesting. Oh yeah, I also was trying to come up with like this like full screen thing, and the problem with it is that it's like the screen aspect is not exactly matching. So yeah, I will need to figure out what to do with with borders and being centered and stuff like that. But yeah, maybe I can spend like kind of like next stream trying to figure out that instead of the complaining about how macOS is unusable compared to Linux. Yeah, and just to illustrate my point, my Dell, I think it was today, it just like I don't know how to call it. It's like it's not freezing. So the problem is that it seems like there is some issue with like NVMe driver or something like that. So basically what happens is that the like NVMe drive, it's just like it disconnects, basically like as if like someone just like detached it from the laptop, and it could end up in like random results in terms of operating system. What usually happens is like it just starts complaining that like I couldn't write something or I couldn't read something, and then if you do like any of the like commands, it's not running because it doesn't have a disk anymore. Yeah, it's always fun because it's like it's no longer working correctly in terms of like running fans or something like that. So it might like start overheating. It will I guess it's probably like trying to read for a file, and it's stuck in a loop of like trying and retrying and stuff like that. So it started to do a lot of like CPU usage. I can test it because like I can't run top at that time when it's in this situation. Yeah, but so I had this problem like right from the start. So I was using this laptop for 5 years, and like whole 5 years I was having this problem when it's like it could happen like once every like 5 months, or like once every day. And when it's happening more often, I'm like, oh no, I need to do something with it. But then it will like, I will have like a break for a few months, and I will just like forget that this problem exists. I never had this issue in Windows, partly because I don't run Windows. I have dual boot there, but like I don't run Windows enough to kind of like notice this kind of stuff, especially if it happens like once every few months. So I don't know if it's like just Linux or if it's just Ubuntu or something. I never tried to really do anything about it, but it's just like, oh no, I'm miserable here in macOS, and like my compared to my Linux that was just like freezing for some reason all the time. I'm like, no, at least I have like KDE, which is like nice to use. I can bear that it's freezing all the time. Yeah. And freezing and overheating. That's kind of like the irony of it. Anyway, so that's it for today. I'm glad that I was able to test this Node 16 stuff. That means I should I should try to switch to it at least on my work project, which is like where I expect to get like some speed improvements. Yeah. See you.